All right, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are upon the face of the globe, except, of course, you believe the earth is flat. Then, wherever you are upon the flat plane of the earth, we want to discuss wealth today. But even though we have wealth here, what we'll really be looking at is money. However, wealth is much more wider than money. Wealth is the ability to fully experience life. And I love this definition by Henry. The ability to fully experience life is wealth. So you could have money and then you are incapacitated by health, then you won't say you are wealthy. Wealth is the ability to fully experience life. Just imagine you have the money you need to travel, to see the world, to be on a yacht, to go deep diving, to go into the cave, to see some dormant volcano, to build a mansion in the snow. If you're in West Africa, where it hasn't snowed for only God knows when, to see extinct animals, to enter the pyramids of Egypt, to see the 7 wonders of the world, to eat what you want, to help as many as you can, and experience the joy of being of service to people, financially and otherwise. Put all that together, that is wealth. I was having a discussion with the members of the binary class, and we got to a point and I went philosophical, and we're looking at money. And I was postulating that if you don't know what you want to do with money, you will never have enough of it per se. Right? There is a short video I wish I remembered before now. The owner of FTX Exchange or FXT Exchange, I can't remember, it's a young guy. And he was interviewed by, again, I've forgotten his name. This guy is a YouTuber or a Facebooker. He goes around countries and does 2 minutes or 3 minutes clips, and interviewed this guy who is a billionaire in crypto, and he's going to give all his wealth away. He desired from the inception that when he's wealthy, he'll give his wealth away. Yeah, he lives in a cozy place where he was wearing just the normal t-shirt without the bling bling, just the way Zuckerberg will dress, just the way Bill Gates will dress. So wealth is beyond money. Wealth is having people around you can trust. Wealth is, coming back home to a peaceful home, right? All of that encompass what wealth is. And though that will not be what we're discussing, it is important for us to state at the very beginning that wealth is not money, but money is part of wealth. Nas, yeah, the name is Nas. He does 1 minute video. Nas is the name of that guy. Thank you, Habib. Right, so what we'll really be discussing today is poor, comfortable, or wealthy. And I'll be looking at the fundamentals of wealth creation. Poor, comfortable, or wealthy. Which do you want to be? In my past, I've heard myself say, well, see, I'm not planning to be too rich. I just want to be rich enough to take care of my basic needs and take care of my family. What a mediocre I was then. If you can just take care of your nuclear family, if that's all you can do, you can't do anything, especially if you're in Africa. Perhaps in Europe or some other part of the world, it isn't the responsibility of the child to take care of aged parents. Not in Africa. You will be tagged irresponsible. You will be a cast out. You will be tagged stupid if you can't take care of your immediate family. In fact, in the Bible, there is one common passage that he who cannot take care of his family is worse than an infidel. And if you read that passage properly, it wasn't talking about nuclear families per se. It was talking about widows. So you have widows in your family, biblically, you're supposed to take care of them. And if they are widows, they may not be your mom. And, you know, they could be aunts. So if all you can do is take care of your nuclear family, you are poor. In fact, based on this webinar, the discussion of the definition of poor is a man who can only take care of his nuclear family. If you can't take care of your nuclear family, you are not poor, you are destitute. You are destitute. You should be able to take care of your nuclear family at basic. And if you are not married, good for you. Now you are learning this before you get married. Taking care of your nuclear family alone, you are poor. You want to be comfortable, you take care of your nuclear family and the needs of some basic people around you. Your mom is diabetic. She needs insulin practically every 2 weeks or every month. And she is immobile, maybe because she has an issue with stroke or whatever. You could send the basic treatments, the cost for the basic treatments to her. You could keep her alive for as long as science and medicine will allow. You are comfortable. Your dad's car is beaten down and completely broken. And in his old age, he seems to be trekking. Could you get him a car? It doesn't have to be a Rolls Royce. It could be a little Camry there. You know, easy to maintain, easy to do that. Yep, you are comfortable. You could meet the basic needs of people around you. You're comfortable. But then, that's much better than poor. At the stage of being comfortable, you might not be able to take the vacation you wish you could, because you are barely just keeping everything stable, right? If there is a heavy storm and the dust rises, you might just slip through the line and become poor, which is meeting your basic needs. Or do you want to be wealthy? And see, I'm not putting a cap at that definition, because we might say Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or whoever is wealthy. That might be it, but you might not be looking at that. Your desire might not be to be on Forbes' list of the richest guys upon the face of the earth, but you might just want to do all that you feel you need to do. You might want to eat out when you want to eat out. You might want to buy a gym equipment, which is not a basic necessity, but something to keep you healthy. And then you could do that. You might just feel like, you know, going on a vacation, and then you can do that, right? You're getting into the realm of being wealthy. I had a mentor once, I'm no longer in touch with him, and he asked me a question one time. He said, Bishop, if I ask you to come on an all-expense paid trip to the Bahamas, you and your family, for 2 months, stay with me. I will pay your flight tickets. I will pay your hotel bills, and I'll feed you for 2 months. Can you afford it? And I was like, this guy is an American. Is his command of English this poor? How can you say that you're going to pay all the bills and then you are asking me if I can afford it? I mean, you're going to pay all the bills. Afford should not be in the question. And of course, he asked that question deliberately. He said, I know what you're thinking about. You're thinking that I made a mistake by using the word afford. And he said he meant it. If he's going to invite me 2 months, will anything go wrong if I'm away for 2 months? And the answer is very obvious. If I'm an employee of an organization, I can't afford to go out of my job for 2 months, even if I'm not going to spend a penny. I can't afford it. If I'm an employee, or well, employee of certain organizations, you get my point, right? If I am an entrepreneur and the way I earn money is that I practically exchange time for money. So let's say I'm a seamstress. I've got to do the job for money to come in. Let's say I'm a carpenter. I've got to make that decks for money to come in. I might not be able to afford to go for 2 weeks vacation, 2 months vacation, because while I'm away, my customers will disappear, no income will come in, and then I will come back from 2 months of vacation fully fed and fattened, only to go back slim and poor because I might need to build up my business from scratch. And he told me, if you can't afford that, you are not wealthy. You might just be rich, but not wealthy. If you can't afford to take a 2 months break when you have a chronic medical issue, and then you know that feeding and everything will be taken care of even when you come back, you might not be wealthy. His definition isn't all-encompassing, but it made real sense to me at that point in time, and it still does. So which of these three would you want to be? Obviously, I omitted rich, but then these three suffices. There are three currencies that drives wealth. And they are your time, your money, and your knowledge. Whichever one you need, you most likely will have to use the other two to get it. If you need more time, you might need to use your money and your knowledge to buy time. You ask me, how can you buy time? Oh, yes, you can buy time. I can't remember in the last 3 to 4 years when last I went to my mechanic and sat down to allow him service my vehicle. I just call on one of the young boys around me, or the mechanic himself, and they come home to pick the car, and then they fix it. But because I know I have taken somebody out of their normal course of activities for the day, I pay that person for their time. And then I have more time to do this Zoom and any other thing I need to do. One, I used my money and who I know to buy me more time to do the things that are important for me. Not that fixing my car isn't, but it isn't a priority when placed in the scale of preference. If you have time, you could use your time and your money, like some guys did yesterday. They were in the volatility class, learning how to trade volatility index with Prof. What they did was that they traded their time, their money, to gain knowledge. And of course, you could use your knowledge and your time to get money, or you could use your knowledge and your money to get time. There are few instances where you could use only one of these to get the other two, or just one. But again, that is not the purpose for our meeting today. Just so you know, most people don't have all three. And you don't have to have all three. You just need to be good at trade by barter. You just need to be good at exchanging one or two for the other. You don't need, Henry Ford, for instance, couldn't have single-handedly put together the Ford. Dangote, the richest black man in Africa, doesn't have the expertise to set up a refinery, to manage and repair machineries that they use in the sugar refinery or the cement refinery or plant, I beg your pardon. He doesn't have that, right? So you don't need to have all of this. You just need to know how to use what you have, and then you get the other. I know the middle currency is of prime importance to many of us here, but at the end of this discussion, you will discover that that middle currency is the least important, and it is the least available. So if you want to get the middle currency, you might just learn how to utilize the currencies at the flanks, and then you get what is at the middle. So let's take them one by each. Your time. You become good at what you spend most of your waking time doing, and there is no shortcut at doing this. At this. If you're a young guy here, you spend most of your waking time watching Netflix. You will be good at analyzing videos, analyzing movies. And I'm not saying that is wrong. It's just that if you're in Africa, it might be wrong, because we don't appreciate art of work or artwork or, things like that. So you might find it difficult to get a job of a critic of movies. I don't know anybody who's gotten one, of course, and I don't know everybody. There might be, but you might just find it difficult. If you spend most of your waking time analyzing who is the GOAT, greatest of all time, Messi or Ronaldo, you will be good at spotting the difference. And I saw somebody in Facebook, he went beyond calling them the GOATs. And when Ronaldo scored a hat-trick recently against Spurs, I think, he said Ronaldo is no longer the GOAT, he is now the cow, the chief of the world. That was his definition of cow. If you spend most of your time on TikTok, binge watching from one funny character to one funny thing to one funny thing to one funny thing, well, you might be good at watching funny things. And I don't know anybody, again, I don't know everything, who gets paid for watching funny things. I don't know any. If you spend most of your time analyzing politics, well, except you get paid as an analyst, you might just be wasting your time. What you spend most of your waking time doing, you become good at it. And there is no shortcut to this. Of course, remember, this is time. So it means you are trading your time for pleasure. You're trading your time for, Facebook. You're trading your time. I mean, what do you spend most of your time doing? Waking time. Waking time. I'm not one of those guys that will say you should sleep 5 hours a day. I'm just getting out of that regime and putting myself in a proper place. So at least you can control your vitals. This currency is the bedrock of the other two. It is the most important and it's available to all, at least at some point in time in life. It was available to all. It is still available to all if you're alive. If you watch clips from motivational speakers, you might have found one young man. If you know the name, please drop in the chat box. He doesn't have any limb at all. No hands, no legs, and he's living the life, going around motivating people, swimming, brushing, driving his car, and doing everything. If you have time, you can get money, you can get knowledge. It is the most important, and everybody has it. You have time, I have time. We are practically spending time together now. And like one of my mentors of old, Dr. Ferdinand Nweke, the way he defined time, he said, your life is time measured in seconds. Every second of our life, every second we spend, we're spending part of our life. This is life. The third point, time is life. Time is actually life. It is irreversible. Time spent cannot be gotten, though you may be able to redeem them under certain circumstances. If I've wasted time, I might be able to do something to redeem it. But primarily, the time I'm using to redeem it itself cannot be redeemed, else time will be reversible. It is irreversible. The way people spend time defines the way they spend their life. Somebody said concerning a particular brand of vehicle, unfortunately, I've forgotten the name. He said, you will never see this brand of vehicle advertised on TV because the guys who buy that vehicle don't watch TV. Social media is and could be a time waster, yet it is one big blessing by which we could convert our time to knowledge and to money. What part of social media takes your time? Do you invest your life into? What do you invest your life into? And by life, I mean your time. What you should invest your time on is dependent on what your life aspirations are. And I can guarantee you, you won't discover your life aspirations by doing nothing. You must invest time doing something, and then you would be able to discover your life aspirations. Many are lucky. They find guardians, coaches, mentors that puts them on the right path early in life, and they are the trailblazers. Many hover around, not really knowing what they really want to do with their life. And when you don't know specifically what you want to do with your life, you can't be rich. You see, we're still talking about money here, guys. We're still talking about money. Just like when we discussed trading and we started with psychology and it was looking like we're wasting time. We're talking about money, and here am I discussing time. In Nigeria, we have a very unique language called Pidgin or broken English. And there is one proverb, it simply says, time na money. Time na money. You can't talk about money without first of all talking about time, because time is what all of us have. Money, very few. If you know time is money, then you invest time properly, you get money. You misappropriate time. Misappropriate means you spend it haphazardly without giving ample time to the important things, you will be poor. And prayer won't change that. You should spend time, invest time on what your life aspirations are. We have stories, unconfirmed, about Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo, the Lima. How he will stay after everybody has finished training, he would stay, and with so many footballs, soccer now, for those of you in the States, trying to see how he could take a corner kick and curve it into the goalpost. And did he do it in his playing time? Yes, he did. He took a corner kick and it curved right straight into the goalpost. He wanted to do that, and he spent time doing that. He was able to achieve that life aspiration. If you want to become rich and you spend most of your time listening to comedians, you can't be rich. Who do you listen to? Who do you spend your time listening to? We have people who are wealth coaches on YouTube. If you don't listen to them, you will wallow in ignorance. You will say, Eureka, I found it on something that was debunked as false 2 generations past. Most wealthy people we know have chronicled their life and their experiences in the pages of some books. It was John Mason that said in his small book of quotes, Why Ask Why? He said, experience is the best teacher. But you can't live long to experience everything. So why not gain the experience by reading about the experience from somebody else? And everything I'm saying here, you can only do it with time. With time. How can you know what you should spend most of your time doing, in quote, life aspirations, without being biblical or spiritual and mentioning the Holy Ghost and the likes? I would just say, spend your time thinking of problems. Solve a problem. Think of problems. We have been brought up by poor parents who make us feel, and of course, growing up within poor society environment, and they associate problems with negativities. But I'm here to give you a slight twist to that line of thought. Solve problems and you make money. Help many people solve their problems and you make plenty money. Just think about it. Why did your employer employ you? It isn't to create problems, it's to solve problems. If you're a janitor, believe it or not, you're solving a problem. If you're a typist, you're solving a problem. If you're a teller in the bank, you're solving a problem. And if your job is to be a father or a mother or a husband, you're still solving a problem. Anything of worth solves a problem. Anything of worth solves a problem. The issue is, what problem do you want to spend your life solving? You need to identify that first. Money will come later on, and I'll tell you how we'll get there. But first of all, you must identify a problem you want to solve. I think people have money problems. And so I decided I'm going to think of a way of making people make money. Unfortunately, at the beginning, I thought just teach them my strategy and then they'll make money. It turned out that if they can't fix their head first, my strategy isn't going to do anything to them. So we started teaching trader psychology. You see, it's still solving the same problem. What problem do you want to solve? And I'll put this assignment back to you, this work back to you. Think of yourself now. If I ask you what problem do you want to solve, look around your society, then look beyond the society to the globe, the world at large. What are the problems you can see? And I'll give you this assignment. Go do this for 7 days. And if you have more willpower, do it for 10 days. Wake up some minutes earlier than you would normally have done. Get a jotter, a book. Write day 1 to day 10 on different sheets of that book. Not different pages, different sheets of the book. Day 1, sit down on your dining, and if you don't have, sit down anywhere comfortable. And write out 5 problems that you see, that you think need solution. Not that you have solutions for them, just 5 problems that you see and you think needs solution. I'll tell you what will happen before it happens. On day 1, you easily write 5. On day 2, it may take you twice as much time that it did the previous day to write out 5 problems, because the 5 problems have to be non-related to the previous ones. On day 3, I can tell you for free, you spend 1 hour, you wouldn't have written 1. Most people who are poor don't go past day 2. They only think of the things that are easy. So you ask a young Nigerian man, young boy, a young girl, what do you want to do? You're done with secondary school. What do you want to do your time? I'll go learn tailoring. Do I have a witness in the house? Put a 1 in the chat box if you hear that every time. I go learn tailoring. I'll go learn, what other things do they say? Put them in the chat box. Put them in the chat box, guys. Barbing, thank you. Thank you. Right? Those are solutions. Those are solutions to certain problems, but those are problems. Hairdressing, thank you. Hairdressing. POS business. Right, keke. Oh, Raf. You get that sense there. Right, keke. You know, carpenter, sales girls, thank you. Makeup. Oh shit. Those are the things. DJ Habib, that one is tough. I've not heard that before, but good. Right? Those are the things people naturally will think about. Most of those things are things you think about without expending energy in your thoughts. If you do things that everybody can do, you will share the same bucket of money. And if everybody in a party shares the same bucket of money, they won't get much. Permit me to annotate, and I'll tell you this. In life, there is a big bowl of money. And that money is divided into 3. One part of it is available for everybody who will most likely be able to solve problems that you would naturally have written in day 1 and 2. And this is 95% of the population of the world. 95, this bucket is divided into 3 equal halves, ladies and gentlemen. 95% of the people of the world will share this. Why? Because they don't go beyond day 1 and 2. They are so daft and dull. They don't have that drive. They just think of normal problems: sales girl, house girl, tailoring, normal things. And all of those are even day one. People will think about day two, fish farming, blah, blah, normal things. Those normal things don't need the skill is not specialized. It's not too unique. You can't stand out somewhere and say, hey, your parents might find it difficult to be proud of you. This is my boy, he's a tailor, imagine, I'm not casting aspersion at that, because there are other ways you could use your tailoring to make money. But most people just think of tailoring and one shop. They don't think of tailoring and going around schools. You know how to sew clothes. There are many public schools around you, especially in Nigeria. And virtually every public school I know uses uniform. And those uniforms don't fall from the sky made. Somebody makes them. Rather than think of a shop, why not think of going to those places, sewing something and telling them, look, I can sew your uniforms for you. Can you give me the contract to sew your uniform for you? Go around 20 schools in your environment. Beg them if you need to. You might get one or two giving you the contract. I tell you, you will sew more clothes in a month prior to the resumption of first time than you ever saw in your lifetime working in a shop. That is what we call thinking outside the box. But most people won't think outside the box. Most wouldn't. And if you don't think outside the box, you remain in the box. Outside the box is where the money is. In the box, you eat the scraps. In the box, you eat the scraps. Oh, somebody mentioned barbing salon. I went to the city of Kaduna one day, and one of my friends, Pastor Victor, took me somewhere to cut my hair because I needed to look sharp for a presentation that afternoon. And I saw the young guy who was blasting music from every side. In fact, this issue of barbers playing music, loud music, I think it's less than 20 years ago. Those days when I go and they put us, they use one, they don't have clipper, then they just use something to clipping it to your hands like this. They don't used to have music. These days, almost every barber selling CD. So when I got there, he was complaining about poor sales. And I told him, have you heard of multi-level marketing before or affiliate marketing? He said, no. So I told him, all right, I'll tell you to do something. Go print small tickets and let them be in quadruples. So you have the original ticket, then you have 3 other ones beneath it. When any man comes to cut his hair, tell him if he can give these tickets to 3 of his friends, he will get 1 free haircut. So you have ticket number 1, it will have 3 duplicates, that making it 4. You may decide to sell the ticket for them at a giveaway price, something just to offset the cost of your printing, or just give it to them for free if they are interested. And he took the advice. I left Kaduna and came back some months later. And I went then, this time not to cut my hair, but just to see how the guy was faring. And he hugged me so tightly. Why? It worked. Everybody wants to have a good haircut, free. So people came, and can you imagine, I'm going to give somebody, 1 or 2 persons opportunity to talk. If you went to that guy's barbing salon and he gave you that ticket, let's say you bought it for $20, and to cut your hair is maybe $200 or $300. When you walk away from that place with those tickets, 3 of them, you have to give 3 friends, then you come back with the 4th one. Of course, if your ticket number is 20, the 3 will have 20. So when any of your friend walks in with the duplicate ticket, he knows it's for ticket 20, so he keeps it somewhere. When you have 3 ticket 20s, then you can come for a haircut. Now, If you walk into that barbing salon and you got the ticket from that guy, can you tell me what you would do once you walk out of that place? What will you say to your friends about the barbing salon? What will you tell your friends about the barbing salon? If you have something to say and you want me to unmute you, you can lift up your digital hand. I'll do that. Or perhaps you could just type it in the chat box. What would you tell your friends about that barbing salon? Anybody, please. What would you tell your friends about the barbing salon? You refer them to the salon. Would you just refer them to the salon? I'll tell you what most people would do. You go to your friends, say, you see that salon is one of the best barbing salon in town. It's one of the best barbing salon in town. The guy's good. You hype the salon. And guys will come there to cut their hair. If you go to the salon, after you've given out 2 tickets, you have just 1 more ticket, or you've given out 3 tickets, but the third guy hasn't come to cut his hair, and then you came to have your own hair cut, and you told the guy to do a particular style, and he didn't quite get it correctly. You might not be happy, but you still wouldn't say so much evil about the salon because you are anticipating a free haircut. And that was what happened to the guy. A few months later, when I got there, he got several persons coming from the other side of the city, all because they needed, somebody told them so much about his salon. He had to go start up a salon at the other side of the city so they don't have to spend so much money coming to him. So I'm not saying that tailoring, barbing, and every other things we mentioned some time ago are actually wrong. It's just that most people doing them don't think outside the box. They don't think beyond day 1 and 2. They do it the same way every other person is doing it. And if you do it the same way every other person is doing, you get the same result every other person is getting. Right? So this is the assignment. After day 2, I told you that by day 3, you might find it difficult to write 1 problem. What do you think will happen to you after then? From that time henceforth, if you are diligent with this assignment, when you go out, your mind will be thinking of problems. You will be seeing problems. You begin to see problems. And I said the only way you can get it is by solving problems. You give the barber some money because he solved the problem of your bushy hair. You give the hairdresser your money because she solved the problem of your look. You give the taxi money because it solved the problem of transportation. You've got to solve a problem to get money. Next thing, have friends or belong to a community that thinks of problems. I'm not saying create problems. They think about it, right? When you go beyond day 3 into day 5, you are beginning to fall into this other side of the box, right? Now, there are just about 3% of the people in the world that gets to this level. Then only 2% gets here. Now think, if the world has just 100 people, just for the sake of calculation, 95, we share the money here. 3, we share the money here. 2, we share the money here. You see why these guys are the rich guys? The guys that solve big tech problems, the Facebook, the Amazons, the Teslas, they solve big tech problems. They're the big guys here. So in summary, on time, spend your time. You need to spend your time to make money. But you need to know what to spend your time on. I'm not saying you shouldn't have leisure time. I do. I watch movies. I rarely watch football matches. But every Friday, every Saturday night, every Sunday night, I go on Google and type EPL, and I see the games, I see the scores, and I see a 5-minute clip that gives me a review of all the games scored. So if I'm sitting with somebody and discussing football, I'll tell you how the score came. But I don't have to sit down there spending 90 minutes of my life when it isn't going to add anything to me. But for the sake of discussion with friends and feeling among, I watch the 5-minute clip, and I'm happy, because whoever scores or whoever wins, it doesn't change the price of fish in the market for me. Let's move to the next one. The next one is your knowledge. Right? Remember, we spoke about your time, your money, your knowledge. And time and knowledge are the flanks. Money is in between. And we're here to look at how to spend, how to make money, right? That was what we advertised. Your knowledge, guys, is a byproduct of intentional use of time. Your knowledge is a byproduct of intentional usage of time. You only know what you've spent your time learning. Nobody was born into the world knowing anything. Nobody. Well, maybe I'm wrong. You know how to cry when you're hungry. I don't think anybody learned that. Right? But I mean, nobody came into the world knowing anything of utmost importance that can be used to make money. Is a byproduct of intentional usage of time. When you have learned, you need to know. What are the things you need to know? You need to know who. There are some who's you need to know. Let no man fool you. If all the people you know are poor, you have very high degree of probability that you'll be poor. Who do you know? Do you spend time in building quality relationships? Quality ones. Do you whip up your phone once in a while, scroll through them, look for friends who have gone ahead of you in life, and try to reconnect with them? Try to get in touch. Try to keep the communication flow. Who are your friends on Facebook? Who are your friends? Who do you know? Many people will remain where they are because of who they know. Many people will get out of where they are in that box because of who they know. Who is your mentor? Who do you listen to? You listen to guys who hype you and tell you. I saw a video recently, and a dog was barking at a lion or a tiger, or I don't know. And somebody said that dog must have listened to a motivational speaker. Who do you know? Do you listen to people who motivate you? Who? Now, there are some persons you might not know them one-on-one, but you know them by their works, the books they've written, their videos on YouTube, their podcasts. You listen to them over and over until you begin to become like them in their thought process. What do you know? What is it you know? What do you know? Again, I won't spend so much time on what, because I think I dealt with that in the previous slide. Your knowledge, how well can you apply it? How well can you apply what you know? If I have to give my vehicle for repairs, and I know that you don't know how to apply your knowledge, fine, you learned the job and everything, but your application of that knowledge is poor, I won't give it to you the second time. How well do you know can you apply what you know? Then can you employ what you know? There are two different things. Applying is that you are using it, right? You are solving problems with it. But how can you employ your knowledge? And that is a different type of knowledge. You can apply your knowledge. You can also employ it. Employ, when I hear employ in my mind, it's like you're recruiting. How can you employ your knowledge to give you money? So employment there depicts a separate skill, a separate knowledge bank outside your skill. You know how to write. If you don't have the knowledge of how to employ other things that will help your writing, you might be like somebody winking in the dark. Nobody sees that. You've got to know how to employ technology. You've got to know how to employ different devices, the Android you have with you, the laptop you have with you, the internet, other things. You need to know how to apply them, how to employ them to help you apply what you know. Like we say in Simply Pips, a machine gun is only as good as the person holding it. A tool is only as good as the person wielding it. We all have Android phones, and some people are mining with Android phones. They are making money with Android phones, and some people aren't doing anything but WhatsApp, plenty selfies, a lot of selfies, right? The world doesn't care actually how you look. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. How relevant is what you know? What you know, how relevant is it? How relevant is it to solving problems? Everything I'm talking about here is solving problems. You know something, but how relevant is it to solving problems? There are some problems that when you solve, all you can get is a thank you. There are some problems that when you solve, you might be able to get $10. And there are some problems that if you solve, you might be able to get $100. There are some problems that you can solve for $100, but because of the who you know, you have to give it out for $20, like we do in the fostering program. What we give out in the fostering program is worth thousands of dollars. But because the set of people we have surrounded ourselves with are young people, and simply because of our dream to reach out to 100,000 families, we sell it for $200, right? We are undervaluing that product. Again, it might just be intentional, but I don't know for how long it will be. So how relevant? So with knowledge, you need to learn. And we said, again, I won't spend so much time with that. You need to learn, you need to learn, you need to learn, read books, watch videos. This day you can practically learn anything. When I went for my master's, I went back to school for master's like almost 11 years after I'd had my first degree. And I went to one of the best schools in Nigeria, public schools in Nigeria, private schools in Nigeria, I beg your pardon. When I got there and I saw what internet has done to learning, I knew instantly if this was the environment I learned from when I was in an undergraduate, I wouldn't only have bagged a first class, I would have bagged a very high first class, right? By the time I came back, I read chemical engineering. I think the only thing I could remember in further mathematics was the y dx, because that is very easy, right? Y cube, bring 3 down, subtract 1 is 3y squared. Very simple. I mean, how could anybody forget that? How could? But integration, whoop, I've forgotten that. I'd forgotten every other thing. And here I was in a master's class, and the guy just came and wrote one big formula and was talking so many things. I was so lost in that class, so lost. So I went back to the internet. I downloaded K.A. Stroud, and I started skimming through, reading it. I got lost several times. Then I went looking on YouTube, looking for people who could teach me. And I met a company for free. Most of the things they do, I think it's Clan Academy, something like that. I think either Clan or Kaplan, something, Clan Academy, if I remember. Those guys teach everything. I mean, they broke down physics, broke down chemistry, they broke down, they broke down practically everything. I wonder why people will go to school in this day and age and still not get to first class. I just wonder. They broke down everything. I don't even know if you know Clan Academy. Or is it Khan Academy? Yeah, that's the name. Thank you. Khan Academy. Thank you very much, Mr. Olakunle. Khan Academy. They broke down everything. Right? So, knowledge is the second most important currency, and few have it. Why do few have it? Few actually spend their time gaining knowledge. They spend their time in frivolities. Remember, we started from time that everybody has. And now we've gotten to knowledge that few have. Why do few have knowledge? Few actually spend their time in worthy ventures. Few spend their time in worthy ventures. Again, let's begin to go to the main reason why many of you are here. Your money. In Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19, the wise one said, "A feast is made for laughter. Wine makes life merry, and money is the answer for everything." The KJV says, "Money answereth all things." And I've heard many people quote this scripture in context and out of context, but for the purpose of this discussion, I'm going to explain it this way. Do you want feast so that you can laugh? Do you want wine so that your life can be merry? All you need is money because it will bring the other two to you. That's the explanation. Do you want feast? That you like friends, you gather with friends, you have barbecue. Those of them that are vegetarians, you create their own vegetarian barbecue for them at the other side. Those, me and you eat our goat and everything, no problem. If you like wine, well, the alcoholic wine we drink, we that we drink the other type of wine, we drink it, no problem. You have fun, you play around with your family. Anytime you get your wife angry on your way back, you enter into one place, buy a new dress for her. She sees the dress and all the anger disappears. It's happened to me several times. Right? When I offend my wife and I'm coming back, I go and buy suya. Those of you in Nigeria buy suya. Suya melts many anger, right? Let me tell you, money makes romance sweet. Money makes romance sweet. I repeat it the third time. Money makes romance sweet. It's not just I love you, I love you, I love you. So if you want all of those things, you want the good life, you want everything, money, we answer that. Money, we answer that. You get that now? You see the reason why you should spend your time and your knowledge to get money? It will answer many things. It will answer many things. You want to look fine, you want to dress, you want to be sticking with the big boys, money. That's it. It is the least important of the three currencies. Ironically, it is the least important of the three currencies. And you know what? Extremely few people have this. Look at where we started from. Time, everybody has it. Knowledge, few people have it. Money, extremely few people have this. And how do you get money? Guy, if you are walking on the road and you see a bag of dollars, don't say heavens dropped it for you. Go to the nearest police station and report it. You may get a National Merit Award and the person may dash you a fraction of that money. If you, what I want to say is funny. I went somewhere and the person was giving a testimony that he was expecting money from her parents. And then one day she just went to the ATM and just tried to check her bank account, and then she saw money. She didn't know who sent the money to her. And the money was not small money because this person is a student. The money was like many times her pocket money. She was happy and she came to give the testimony. Unfortunately, it wasn't a place where I had authority to go and say, "Come, keep quiet, a thief, go return that money. Go complain to the bank." But I can tell you for free what will happen because it's happened to a very close friend this time who told me, a female too. She saw money sometime in November and she spent everything. Now, when her salary came in the month of March, she got the alert, but she couldn't withdraw the money. And then she went to the bank angrily. "I got my salary, what happened?" And the bank said, "Well, one of our tellers mistakenly posted some money to your account in February and you spent it. We're just taking the money back." And she was broke in the month of March. Money does not fall from the sky, ladies and gentlemen. If you pick any money on the street, it fell off from somebody's pocket. Money is the least important of these three. And it can only be gotten by trading off the other two. You can only trade what you know, how you know it, how you apply it, how you employ it with time. And then you'll be able to get money. Or rather, sorry, you can only trade what you know and time, not with time. You can only trade what you know and time with money. No shortcuts, guys. There is no shortcut anywhere. No shortcut anywhere. If you're in an office and they are promoting you and they are promoting you and you are happy, they are promoting you because you worked over time. You used your skill over time, and therefore the company felt we could add 12,000 naira to your salary per month, making it a total of about 144 per annum. That's what they do. It's the principle. If you don't know it now, you know it. This item money, just like love, is the most misunderstood amongst the three. And that is why very few have it. The few who understand it are the few that have it. The majority misunderstand money. And then they chase. And how will you know that they misunderstand money? They chase money solely. They spend their life chasing money. Right? Because they misunderstand it. If you get my analogy right, what they should spend their life pursuing is knowledge. Then they exchange the knowledge after blending it with time to make money. If you spend your time chasing money, you will be poor. And I'll give you another example, just because I believe my audience are many young people, or at least young adults. I lead a pack of young boys and girls in my church. I anchor the teen church. So in my church, we have the adult church, we have the children church. Once you graduate from the children church, you go into the teens church. And we discuss eschatology, we discuss apologetics, we discuss law, we discuss sex, we discuss marriage, we discuss everything in that place. It doesn't look like a church, actually. It looks like a discussion room. One thing I discover amongst these guys, these young people, many of them, when they're done with secondary school, I ask them to go learn a skill. Just like I'm going to ask you guys to go learn a skill in this webinar. And I hope you won't do what these young guys do. They look at me like they assimilate everything I say. And immediately after they leave there, they go look for a job in some factories and they work as laborers or things like that. And I asked them, why are you doing this? And they say, uncle, I'm doing this because I need to gather money for my school. Some of them actually start learning the skill. But when they start learning the skill, it doesn't bring instant money, right? So if you're learning tailoring, you're learning how to bake, you're learning how, you spend your money on transportation, you feed yourself, and that's money. So they feel like they're wasting time. They see their friends working in Toa Aluminium, working in some other factories, and earning 25,000 per month, 10,000 per month. And these friends can buy shoes and have airtime on their phone. They never have airtime on their phone. And they feel they are wasting time. Now, I'll tell you the summary so that I won't spend so much time. 11 months, 10 months, 12 months, 24 months after, depending on how long it takes them to get an admission, they get the admission. And I ask them, how much have you saved? And I'm not exaggerating this now. Virtually all of them would have saved nothing. Few, very few save something. And what they save can only pay for one term school fees or one semester school fees, and after then, nothing. It won't do anything. And I asked them, can't you see the stupidity in what you do? You told me you're working to prepare for your school. I thought that when you're done working, you would have gathered all it takes to take you through school. You only gathered what it takes to pay for your acceptance fees, not even your school fees. Why? The work you're going to, you're still going to spend transport too. You're still going to feed yourself too. Just the same way you would have done. But they don't want to spend that 6 months suffering to learn a skill. I told one of them, you're a young guy, go learn how to cut hair, barbing. Just go learn. I know it's like almost a rudimentary skill, but go learn it. If you are a student and you know how to cut hair, or you know how to do matting or plating or whatever they call it, and you're on campus, and your friends know that every Saturday between the hours of 1 and 7, Mike will be ready to cut my hair. Outside the campus, to cut the hair is 300 naira. Mike will do it for me at 150 or 200. You would get on an average 5 to 10, if not more, customers per Saturday. If you make 2,000 naira as a student on campus, you are a big guy. Most students will have Android phones, and these Android phones have the map of Africa on them because they've fallen several times. When they resume back from holidays, they have money in their pockets. They can fix their phones. Learn how to, not to fix the phone, just learn how to remove the broken screen and place it back. Outside on campus is going to cost 10,000. You can do yours for 9,000. And you still make 1,000 per this repair. If you fix 10 phones, 20 phones, you would have made 20,000 in a semester. That is big money for a student on campus in Nigeria. Can you learn how to type? Not the type of typing that you put out your 2 index fingers and you'll be looking for QWE. Go learn how to type, put your fingers correctly and type fast. Learn it. It will take 6 months, 7 months to learn that skill of typing. I learned it. I typed my own project in school myself. Learn it. There will be guys who will be doing their Cyrus reports, project reports, chapter 1, chapter 2. Type it for them and make money. You don't have to come back home to your poor parents all the time. Yes, they will support you, but you'll be a unique student. And then you begin to learn the ability and the skill of adding knowledge to time to make money. The reason why most adults struggle in making money is that they never learned the skill in the first instance. All they knew all their life is go to school, read, and then come and exchange your time for one employee. They've not learned how to do it themselves. how to think inwards and do it themselves. Again, so that I won't get too deep into this, let's leave that. When gotten, the last point there, when you've gotten money, you can use that money to amplify your life. You can use money to amplify your life. And you can also use it to amplify the other two currencies. You can use money to buy time. You want to travel from Lagos to Abuja? You have two options. You go by road or you fly. You go by road, you spend a whole day. You fly, you are there in 1 hour. You've just used your money to buy 11 hours. You've just used your money to buy 11 hours. I have gone for meetings where I flew in and flew back. And nobody in the environment will know that they will think you just went out and came back. And you've gone half the distance of Nigeria. But the problem is that most people chase money first rather than chase knowledge. When you've gotten money, you can use it to amplify your life. And you can use it in exchange for the other two currencies. Adam Koo is one of our mentors. He used to be the mentor of Prof. I'm adopting Adam Koo too. You want to learn from Adam Koo, you spend good money. But Adam Koo is what I aspire to become. A trader who teaches, not a marketer who is telling you, come and learn, come and do my course. And if you ask him, give me proof that you have $2,000 in your account, he can't give you that proof. The only way he makes money is by selling his courses. I want to be like Adam Koo. I'm selling my course because I value my time. But if you don't buy my course, I'll still make money with my skill. If you want to learn from Adam Koo, you pay big money, but you know you're learning from one of the best in the industry. You know you're not learning from one riffraff somewhere. You know you're not learning from an imposter, a scammer. When you've gotten money, you get quality, guys. You amplify your life, you get quality. You buy good cars. You buy good shoes that will last you for 5 years. You don't buy shoes that when you're walking on the road, the sole falls off. Then you go fix it. Then you go fix it. One of my mentors told me something. He said, Bishop, well, he doesn't call me Bishop, sorry. He said, Raji, when you want to buy a land, go to the middle of the city and buy the land. Build your house in the middle of the city. And I was like, sir, it's going to be expensive. He said, yes. But at the long run, it's going to be cheaper. If you go to the outskirts like most people do, the road will be bad. You'll be contributing money every time to fix the road. All of them within Nigeria, now start to talk now. You fix the road many times. You spend hours in traffic because you're trying to get to the extreme side of the town. You have wear and tear on your car. 10 years down the line, count the time you have spent on the road, the money you spent on your car, and the value of the property. It will be nothing compared to if you had spent time to buy the land in the city. And I told him, sir, but I don't have that kind of money. He said, go find something to do and get the money. But don't buy something outside the outskirts of time. I mean, look at that wisdom, guys. Look at that wisdom. Mix, and I told you guys, who do you know? Don't go mix with people that anytime they are thinking of life, I have property. Where is your property? It's in the outskirts. After me, once you've cost my property, the next thing you go to next is one zoo. After my property, the next thing you play with is baboons and elephants. That's not property. That is not property, guys. You spend 20 years and it doesn't appreciate it at all. Buy a property somewhere. Let it pinch your pocket when you buy it. You know, if you, I mean, there are some properties I want to buy, and I've been bargaining. I've told the guy just reduce 5 million. The guy said, no, just, the guy said, hey, Oga, just leave this thing. You know. If you no buy, I no lose money. If you come back next year, now you go add money for the price while they talk so. Because the value we appreciate. If I waste time if I come back 3 months later, the price would have gone up. That is property. Not one. Look, guys, change your association, guys. All right. Now we've spoken about learning something. The next thing you need to know is that after you've learned it, you should monetize your skill. And the internet has made it easy. What are some of the skills you can learn? Which is, we are coming to where other ways of making money now. We are coming to it, which is why many of you came here. Learn how to write, if you can learn how to write. I dropped a link in Simply Pips recently. Somebody was teaching how to write, and you have your book on Amazon. Many people did not join, and I don't know if anybody paid for that course. It was just, I think, 4,000 or so, 4,000 naira. But maybe because of what we know, we think writing is a stupid thing. In that group, the person who was taking us in writing is, and listen to this, the person that was teaching us about writing is a specialist. I mean, she's a doctor, medical doctor, and she's a specialist. She has written exams to become a specialist. She's an award-winning, what do they call them? Something life. I just keep my mind, something life specialist, right? She's a musician. She's got an album. And then she writes. Look at, she's a medical doctor. One of the things that everybody wants their children to be, she's a doctor. She didn't just stop at being a doctor. She writes. She's not just writing, she sings. And you wonder where she gets all the time. Some of you have come to me in DM and say, Bishop, how do you do all of this? Every time you're on Telegram, you answer a question, we're there, you are in Forex, you're in this, you're in that. Guy, appropriate your time. Appropriate your time. We all have 24 hours. She gave a testimony. One of our friends, who is also a specialist, relocated to Canada. And on getting to Canada, the friend could not practice because the Canadian system doesn't appreciate the education we have in Nigeria. And she got in there, then Corona started. She was at home, but she had learned how to write. So she went to some of these freelancing websites, Upwork, Fiverr, and started writing medical, journals and the likes. And the friend told her, the friend in Canada said, I'm not going to go back to school just because I want to practice medicine. I am earning more writing from my bedroom than I earn as a doctor. And some of you think that writing is mundane. What about transcribing? A younger lady, she forcefully calls herself my daughter, has been battering me. What she doesn't have a dad, and I was able to push her into school, so she went to Open University and the likes. And now she's going to go for teaching practice. She doesn't just want to spend the time, obviously, because if she spends the time, she'll get some mouth wobbling from me anyhow. So she wanted to learn something. And I told her, you speak Yoruba? She said, yes. Can you write Yoruba with the R, B, D, and everything? She said, yes. The Do, Re, Mi, or the Mark. She said, well, not too much. Okay. Go build your skills. So she went to buy a Yoruba Bible, because that's one easy way you can learn Yoruba language and how to write. And what is the game plan? Notice what she's doing. She's spending her time now learning how to transcribe. So there are many people, not only Nigerians, there are people outside Nigeria who are writing books, and they want those books to be translated into other language. That's transcribing, right? But they don't have experts to do that. or the experts, they know, are very expensive. You could go to Fiverr and do that for $400. You could go to Upwork and do that for $500. Just get the book, read it. It's going to take your time. Now she's learning the skill. $500 in Nigeria now times 580 is 290. I know many graduates who have worked for 10 years and they don't earn this amount. I have a brother, Prof knows him very well. He used to be a teacher. Now he writes. He's an underwriter. He took out time even when he started to go learn how to write professionally. He earns very close to $2,000 every month writing. He's not doing anything, writing, right? This same writing you think, writing. And some of us here have been here, you've drawn trend line, you've drawn Ichumuku, you've drawn Chukumuku, you've drawn everything. At the end of the month of analyzing and telling us TP hit, TP smash, we check your bank account, nothing there, nothing. No money. And you wonder why your family think that you are running mental. Right? You can add something to trading. You can add something to trading. Learn how to write. Voice over. Do you have a commanding voice? Voice over. Learn how to code. Learn how to program. There are some games. If you go to Apple, Android, you see different type of Candy Crush. They are written by different people. You just need to have some number of persons downloading your game, and then you'll be liable, you'll qualify to have ads running on your games. And with the ads come money. You can do many things, guys. Do you know the funny thing? Some of these things can be done. You can learn them for free on YouTube. And we have some other groups. Even Google itself does free training. Free training. Google does free training. Microsoft does free training. Online marketing. This is the baba of all of them. For me. Online marketing. Try. Online marketing. You can learn it. In fact, you can learn online marketing to the point that they will give you doctor. You didn't go to any school. Honorary doctor. You're calling yourself Dr. Bishop Raj. Dr. Bishop Raj. You can learn how to trade. You can see where trading is there. Trading. Many of us are doing that. Fine. But I'm saying, can you mix it? Can you be like the Garden of Eden that had more than one river feeding it? Trading. You can learn singing. All right. Let me come here and show you guys something. What can you do on Fiverr? Fiverr, or before I go on, these are places where you can do freelance work. You have Upwork, Freelancer, People Per Hour, Guru.com, like Twinny, all of these free up. They are alternatives to Fiverr. What are some of the things you can do here, guys? Look at what they say. What can you sell on Fiverr? That's the question. And look at the answer. I love that answer. You can sell basically anything. Can you imagine that you can sell anything and you are still broke? Can you imagine that? That you can sell anything and you are still broke? Guys, I'll give 2 minutes for this response. Put it in the chat box. If you can sell, if you see somebody that can sell anything, but the person is still broke, what do you call that kind of person? 1 word or 2 words? Put it in the chat box, guys. I'll read it out. What do you want to call that kind of person? Somebody who can sell anything, but the person is still broke. What do you want to call that kind of person? Put it in the chat box, guys. 2 minutes. I'm not in a hurry. Somebody say fool, lazy person. Right? If you can sell anything and you are still broke, lazy man, according to Yemi Prince. What if it's a woman? Right? The person is lazy. The person is stupid. Thank you, Emeka Paul. I like that answer. The person is an ignorant person. And that is where most people fall into. Some people are not really lazy. Some are not really stupid. They're just ignorant. They're just ignorant. Right? You can sell basically anything. You know that some of you that spend time giving advice to all the preachers on YouTube, on Facebook, unsolicited advices. The man is talking to his congregation. somebody posted on Facebook and you spend 5 hours arguing with another man you will never meet in your life, giving advices. Guy, go give that advice for Fiverr. Go give that advice for Fiverr. Leave Facebook alone. You can give advice on Fiverr and they'll pay you for it. There are some people, they are very lonely, especially in the Western world. You know, we in Africa, we still have this communal relation. Some people, they've lived for 5 years in the community. They don't know their next door neighbor. The guy is dying of loneliness. He will pay you $100, $10, $20, $5 just to give an advice. And you are here giving advice to total strangers who will abuse your great-grandfather because you have a different view on Facebook. Singing a song. Do you know you can make money by singing a song? Oh, those of you that sing song when you're doing your laundry or you're in the bedroom, you can sing. And when you sing in your mind, you just think that you are competing with Celine Dion. But those of us outside know that this guy is killing, he's destroying the music. Well, try go and sing for somebody in Facebook on Fiverr. What about designing a website or anything that you are an expert in? That is the qualifying thing. You've got to be an expert here. You can sell on Fiverr. And what did we say in our slide? You must know how to apply well. I tell you, I know somebody that is a multimillionaire in Naira, and all she does is cooking soups. Soup. I don't know if soup has plural. I just say soups now. It didn't sound well. Soup, anyway. I went visiting a friend who works in KPMG on the island in Lagos. And she put a call through to somebody and told the person to make soup. And the person was asking, which brand you want, madam? Egusi soup. Do you want periwinkle? Do you want it removed or soak and throw away? And they were bargaining. And she was going to pay this woman 28,000 naira to cook soup. And I asked her, I mean, what are you doing? She said, look, I'm a busy professional. I work and I audit. And when I go into a place, we have a short period of time to audit that company. So whenever I'm auditing and they call them one name, something that looks like a co-owner or something, right? When you've got it to a particular level in KPMG, they call them partner, something like that, right? So she could be there till 11 because they have a deadline. They must finish auditing and leave. After then, she can be back home cooking and doing other things and living a normal life. So when you are passing through, when she's in that tough period, she's got a family to feed. There is this lady who knows how to cook practically any soup in Nigeria. Again, what I said is a lie. She only knows how to cook some soup. But she employed people who can cook other forms of soups. And she created a company. You want her to cook egusi, call her. She has 3 brands of everything, 3 categories of every type of soup. If you want egusi, just egusi, normal one you want. If you want egusi where there will be vegetable and the egusi will be thick inside like meat. Right, some people are salivating already. Oh boy, there's that. If you want egusi with cow meat and everything, and you will pay, she will give you the time. You will send your money, your own money. You will send it. See, this is not I deliver. Then you now pay. You will send your own money. She will use your own money to go to the market and cook the soup. Then they'll come and deliver it in well-packaged plastics. And you can now keep it in the deep freezer and then be serving your husband and be playing love, wanting tea and everything. Fine. Your husband, for most men who can eat good soup, they don't care about any other thing, right? Look at that business skill. She now employed people. If you want any type of soup, they'll cook it for you and bring it. But you pay. There are some soup that cost 60,000. Now I understand what they say, better soup, na money killer. Right? Dehydrated egusi. Thank you, my brother. Dehydrated egusi. This guy, you like food well. So can you see that you can even cook and that cooking can make you money and it doesn't have to be mama put? It doesn't have to be mama put. When people think about I can cook, you think you have to sit down the side of the road, sitting behind the fireplace and sweating. Very close to where I live, There is a restaurant situated inside a filling station, and the operator of that restaurant is a man. He is a man, a graduate, a man. He earns more than a banker. And if he wants to learn how to trade, he will trade because he practically does not cook. He doesn't cook. He doesn't go to the market. He just lazy around every day in the restaurant. And people come from every corner to eat. And he's with his mobile phone. Maybe I'll approach him one of these days and tell him, guys, use that time to learn how to trade. You can be a life coach. You can write recipes for people. You can do fashion design on Fiverr. You can do consulting on farming. You can teach anything. And Prof gave us a story here of a friend who was broke and out somewhere in Kaduna too. And this guy knows how he learned AutoCAD. And Prof told him, you learn AutoCAD. There are many places where people look for AutoCAD. Why not go teach them? And gradually he went from school to school and started teaching AutoCAD. Now he earns more than his annual salary teaching AutoCAD, and he's still working. AutoCAD. He might have spent 2 years learning AutoCAD. And I tell you, I've not seen any of my mentors that make money only by trading. Anything can happen to the market. Your strategy can have losing streaks. You can't control it. It's probability. But are there other things you can exchange for money? Why not learn them? Have I not mentioned more than 5 ways of making money here, guys? I told you 5. I've mentioned more than 5. But remember how you will start. You can't do all of these things. You have to come here, right? You have to sit down and ask yourself, what do you want to spend your life solving? What do you want to spend your life solving? You have to get that out. Many people jump they're just jumping up and down. You have to spend your life, right? Many of us have seen this before. Prof said there's even a second person now doing the same AutoCAD stuff on this call. Very good. So there's somebody on this call doing the same AutoCAD stuff and making money. Guys, in Simply Pips, we don't lie to you. That is why we don't, you see our group, it's like these guys are not traders. They just like preaching. They just like talking. Oh boy, there are times we go into the market, stop loss, go wire us, stop loss, beat us where we're Jerry. Oh boy, we just go and face something else. But we will not get hungry because trading Forex is not the only thing we do. And you should follow suit. Many of you have seen this thing, many online marketing scheme, they've bastardized this thing very well, flashed it many times. It's called the cash flow quadrant. And it was made popular by the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. If you want to get wealthy, not just comfortable, not just meeting your basic needs, you need to transcend from 1, 2, 3, and get to number 4. You could be in number 1 and still be number 4, which is the essence of this discussion. You could be an employee, yet an investor. Most people explain this quadrant wrongly by telling you have to move from here to here, right? Then from here to here, and then from here to here. No, you can be in quadrant 1, 2, and 3, yet still being an investor. The investor is the big guy, right? And I'll quickly explain that. I won't take your time. An employee is somebody who makes money, and the amount of money he makes is dependent on the active work he puts, right? Amount of active work determines income. So he practically exchanges his time for money. A banker, a nurse, all of those things is an employee. You exchange time for money. The danger of this is you can never be rich earning money. That is, you can never get to that other part I mentioned, the comfortable, without getting money. That we're being an employee. Your employer will never pay you enough such that you don't need the employer again. Your employer will never pay you so much that you will not need the employer again. You are always undervalued such that they pay you enough to keep you. And they train you. All the training they do is to ensure you're a better employee, not a better business person. It is your duty to ensure that even though you're an employee, you build the entrepreneurship spirit in yourself. Somebody said, I'm into mobile development, but it seems difficult getting a job on Fiverr and Upwork. But I will look into teaching it now. Great, I'm happy somebody is taking a cue. I never said it was going to be easy. Anything that is easy will make you money. But the people that make money, plenty money from it, have done it to a point that it becomes easy for them. But it won't be easy for a startup. So an employee, you fall sick, you get sacked, everything. The main thing is that you won't have plenty money here. And most people, their mentality is such that the higher your money, the higher you spend. And employees have a false safety. They have a false security. Yeah, that's the term I was looking for. They have a false security. Some years back, being employed in a good organization was secure. Being an entrepreneur was risky. In this generation, risky is the new safe. Risky is the new safe. Very closely related to an employee is somebody who is self-employed. A seamstress, a vulcanizer, a doctor who has his own clinic, a lawyer. All of those things are self-employed. A farmer. They also make money. Same way. Look at that statement is the same. Amount of active work determines income. So people say, look, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be an entrepreneur. And they just simply resign from their job only to go and start working for themselves. You've not done anything. You are still doing the same thing, exact same thing by principle. The amount of money you earn is based on the amount of active work you put in. In fact, you are almost worse off as a self-employed. If you are sick and you don't go to your shop, you don't earn money. As an employee, if you are sick, you could be sick for 1 week, just come with a sick leave, and you still get paid. Yoruba people will say, Ogata, Ogaota. The money of Allah, it must complete. But self-employed, you step out, your money steps out. This is a tougher place to be. Self-employed is a tougher place to be. Yet it is a stepping stone to becoming a business owner. And by the way, not everybody can be employed. And if not everybody can be employed, then some people have to be self-employed. It's just that it's a tough place to be. But if you do it well, you will enjoy a more fulfilling life than an employee. Yet, employees are needed. And for many people, they come from very poor backgrounds and very poor homes. They need to start as an employee to develop the skill to gather the money to enable them become self-employed, a business owner or an investor, right? In a business owner, income does not depend on active work, right? Business owners, this is where you start becoming comfortable. This is where comfortable comes in. There is no rich man, the richest man in the world. I don't want to spend time again. I can see that I've taken so much time already. The richest men in the world are the people who employ the most people. Right? Just think about it. You as an individual, the most active time you can put in is 10 hours. So you work for 10 hours and you have only 2 hands. Nobody gets rich working with their 2 hands. Imagine if you get a business idea and then you employ 10 other persons to work for you. Now, each of them is going to put in 10 hours each. So individually, they've worked for 10 hours. But for you and for your goal, they've put in 100 hours in 24 hours. They've put in 100 hours in 24 hours. So when other people say, oh, I worked, how many hours do you work in a day? They say 10. When they ask you how many hours do you work in a day, you say 110. Because your employees worked for 100 hours for you and you also put in 10 hours. You've worked for 110. There is not possible, if you do it right, that somebody who's working for 10 hours will be richer than somebody who is working for 110 hours in a day. It's not possible. By the time you do 1 year of 365 days, working for 110 hours per day, you would have worked for 40,150 hours. Whereas the guy working for 10 hours per day will only have worked for 3,065 hours. I mean, it is not possible, except if you don't do it rightly, that the guy working for only 3,650 hours will make more money and be richer than the guy who has put in 40,000. Now, look at the richest guys in the world. They have the highest number of employees. Facebook has many employees. First Bank has many employees. Dangote has many employees. And everybody is working. Let's give another illustration. If they all work for 10 hours, if you work for 10 hours, and then let's say you generate $10, and they also work for 10 hours and they generate $10, you pay them $6, you earn $4. 4 times 10, you earn $40 plus your $10. Every day you earn $50. Every day you earn $50. You are richer than the guy who is just working 10 hours to earn $10. An investor, you see, these other two here, they exchange time for money. Time for money. A business owner exchanges people for money. So he uses other people's time. He uses other people's time to get money. An investor uses money to get money. So he can use his money to get money, or he can use other people's money to get money. If he's using his own money to get money, he buys stocks, he invests, other things. If he's using other people's money, he goes into things that are leveraged. He can borrow loan, or he can do Forex, where you can leverage. You can put in 100 and you trade as if you have $10,000. That's leverage. You're using other people's money to make money. And that is why trading on its own can make you self-employed. You can also use it as a business owner, and you can also use it as an investor. Again, I spend so much time on some other things that I won't have the time to spend here. But your aim is that even if you're an employer, you must find a way to be making money while you are not actively working. Buy stocks. Attend Prof stocks class. Learn how to trade stocks. Know how to buy viable stocks. Hold them. Time will fail me. If I'm to do this normally, if I had planned it properly, perhaps would have spent more than 1 day. Then I would have shown you guys more of what I'm talking about. If I come here to stocks, right, and I go to the weekly time frame, if I go to the weekly time frame and I click on things like Tesla, right, imagine if just in 2020, just in the year 2020, you bought Tesla. If you bought Tesla in the year 2020, somewhere maybe December 20 or February 2020, you would have bought Tesla at $192.99. Tesla, as of today, the price of Tesla is $906. You would have just bought Tesla and let it go. Just leave it. Let it grow. Now you are not actively involved in Tesla. You are still working in your office, but Tesla is making money for you. And Prof has very, 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 very attractive and innovative ways to trade these things. And it won't take so much of your time. You only need to come to the chat once a week, just once a week. And that could be on Sunday. Right? What about crypto? I keep saying BNB. I remember my story with BNB. I bought BNB on my birthday, 5th of February. Right? 5th of February last year, somewhere around here, I bought BNB. I bought it for $45, I remember. I sold BNB for well over 400 and something. That's 10 times 10. Imagine if I put in $1,000, I'll make 10,000. If I put in $10,000, I make 100,000. If I put in $100,000, I make 1 million. Right? What am I doing when I buy BNB? I'm investing in crypto coins. I'm not actively involved in building and developing Binance. In fact, CZ, the owner of Binance, doesn't even know me, but I'm earning from Binance. I'm an investor. Am I bearing a risk? Yes. I could buy at 450, at 45, and then it goes to 10. That's the risk. But I can't afford not to take the risk, because being an employee alone or self-employed isn't going to make me rich. It's not going to make me rich. It's not going to make me comfortable. Never. Money doesn't work that way. All right, the last two slides. There are some vehicles to create wealth. One is leverage. Leverage is a vehicle to create wealth. You could use people, which I've explained. You could use time, which I've explained. And you could use money. You use other people's time. You can use other people's money. In that way, you're making a combination of people and time and people and money. Right? Any combination here, just put them together. You could use people alone, time alone, or money, or combination, people's time, people's money, and the likes. You need to make money work for you, right? It is the least important member. That's money is the least important member, right? Remember. So you can use that least important one to work for you. And that way you're an investor. Look for startups. If you're an environment where if you give people money, they can return it to. I've given people money for startups and they've never returned it. You must understand the principle of compounding, which is one of the wonders of the world. And Prof created a slide for us. Remember, we all have time and you can play with time. Let's say you are 20 and you are able to get 100,000 naira. If you get 100,000 naira, you're just 20 or 30 years old. Find something. It might not be something that you do directly with your time. It might be something you invest in. Just find something that can give an average of 5% per month. At the end of 1 month, you would have made 105. Then you compound it. You put in the whole 105 again. At the end of 360 days, you would have made 79% of your money. If you expand this and say, okay, I have 100,000. If I make 79% per year, at the end of the 6th year, my 100,000, at the end of the 6th year, my 100,000 will be worth 3.2 million. At the end of the 10th year, it will be worth 33 million. You'll be 40 then. By the time you are 50, in the next 20 years, it will be worth 11 billion. 11 billion. This is on paper, guys. It's on paper. But yes, I've practiced this and it does work. It does work. Right? There will be some hiccups in between. And there are certain things I'm not telling you guys. Right? You don't just put all your money in one place. For example, now I can't put my 5 million. If I have $5 million, I will never put it in one brokerage firm. To collect it to be big trouble. Right? Prof has a way of doing it. Maybe in another forum, he will tell you. You don't put all your money in one brokerage firm and expect that you just write a check and they'll pay you. They'll find every reason not to pay your money. Most brokers we use here are not that standard. If you have $1 million, $2 million, even $100,000 as your personal trading balance, you should be looking for top brokerage firms that can even give you insurance over your money should anything happen to them. Those are some things they don't tell you. They just tell you I make millions. There's a way you make millions. You can't use all these normal Forex brokers you have in Nigeria. You can't use them again. If you make that kind of money, they won't pay you. And they'll ensure they don't pay you. And you won't do anything. You can't do anything. Right? If you are making $1,000, $2,000, they'll pay you that one. There are certain amounts of money you make, they can't pay you. They don't have the ability to pay you. Right? Of course, if you want to be withdrawing something, so that I won't just be I'll just make money, I no go chop. You want to be withdrawing something, you can decide you want to be withdrawing 30% after the third year. If you're withdrawing money after the third year, you have this. If you don't have time, you're already 40, you're already 45, you're already 36, you don't have time. Don't go and think of how you make this money more than 100,000, right? So let's say you don't have time. You can make this money 500,000. If you make it 500,000, now at the end of the 5th year, you have 9 million. At the end of the 10th year, you have 168 million. If you have 168 million, you are not just you are now comfortable. You are comfortable now. That does not mean that because you have 168 million, you can buy a house 150 million. That's stupidity. You can still live in your 3-bedroom bungalow. By the way, your children should be in secondary school. I'm about going out, right? You don't need a big house. Now you can take care of your medical health. If there's an emergency, you can take care of your children. You can send them abroad to school. You can do many things with 168 million, right? But you can't just wake up, go for one all night, go for crossover, shout, I receive it, then now become rich. It does happen, but it happens in 1 billion people. And you might not just be that one. The probability is stacked against you. Let's wrap up. You must be able to embrace risk. Again, I don't have the time, maybe another time, maybe one of these, every Saturday now, we'll try to be doing a podcast for 45 minutes called Other Things About Forex. I usually do it with Prof. We'll try and resurrect that again, and then we'll discuss some of these things one by one again. One by one, we'll discuss them. So there, I will tell you how I determine what is low risk, how I determine what is medium risk, and how I determine what is high risk. And I take all of them. Even high risk, I take them, right? But I assign money to them separately. I assign money to them separately. Another one that many people that has been bastardized and people don't know how to do properly is multi-level marketing. Multi-level marketing is one big way you can make money. I'm going to share my screen. Just give me 30 seconds or thereabout. I want to call up something and I want you guys to see it. I want you guys to see it. If you think multi-level marketing is bad business, it's because you don't have a mentor that's telling you the right way to do it, or you are one of those people who just go to sell anything and lie to people just so that you can make sales. This organization, businessforhome.org, they check MLM companies, and an estimated commission payout in MLM industry in 2020, right? Per year, about $46.18 billion is paid out per year. 46.18 billion, 3.86 million is paid out. 888 million is paid out, 3.86 billion, right? And look at this, it keeps increasing. Look at this. See, you see that? You see that? People are earning, as you and I are here. People are earning from MLM. And you're like, oh no, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't like people to hate me. Oh boy, if you are poor, they will hate you more. And there's a passage in the Bible, it said, there was trouble in a city. A rich man provided the solution. When the city was saved, everybody was happy, but they forgot the rich man. Unfortunately, I didn't prepare to share it, but I'll post it in, if Prof can find it, can post it in here or maybe in Simply Pip's Telegram group. Look at this. You should come here once every week and let something sink into your head. You have to change your head first, which is why you need to change the type of people you deal with and get a good mentor. Unfortunately, I'm not available. You have to look for another mentor. I'll mentor you the way I'm doing it like this on Simply Pips. Look at this. This is the name of somebody. Igor Albertas and Andre Kimbala, right? The company they work for is called Success Factory, and they make an estimated $21.6 million per year. Per year. Look at this guy. I know these guys, at least Ivan and Monica Tapia in IM Mastery, formerly IML. They earn 16 million per year. No matter how you mouth IML, some guys are making plenty money. Plenty money. Look at IM Mastery again. Look at Omega Pro. Omega Pro, we all know Omega Pro. This guy, Amira Habib, $9 million in a year. Oh, there's one Nigerian there. There's one Nigerian. Has he gone downwards? Somebody has overtaken him. Look at PM total life changes. Yes, that guy that mentioned Herbal Life in that video. Look at Omega Pro. Look at Daniel Onoja. Yeah, that's the guy. Daniel Onoja, 4.6 million naira every per annum, an average of 385,000 per month. This is another Omega Pro. This total life changes, right? So if you think all those guys, and you are just bad mouthing them, look at the Herbal Life. That guy that I posted in Simply Pips that said trading is difficult. If you know you can't do it, go sell Herbal Life. This is what he's talking about. This Herbal Life. So he wasn't saying something negative. He was saying, look, go sell other things that might be tangible as against coming to trade an abstract chart. That's 2.8 million per annum. That is humongous. Look at another Herbal Life. Look at Omega Pro. Look at Nu Skin. Look at Amway. And you think you cannot learn how to market online? You don't want to market online? You don't want to create sales funnels that will market? Some of you have clicked on a site before. Once you click on the site, you started watching a video. Since then, they've been sending messages to you. It's called an autoresponder. It works. It's not that the man sat down and sent it to. He wasn't the one that sent it himself. He has set the plan. The team will send it to you to tell you, you've only watched 10 minutes of this 2 hours video. Do you want to come back? It's called an autoresponder. You can use all of those things and market and make money. Don't dull yourself, guys. MLM is good business. You just need to know what to sell. Right? This is a wrong header. I was supposed to delete that. Right? So if you want to invest, there are some other things. There are some things I invest in. Right? Some of them are high risk, low risk. Unfortunately, I've run out of time. It's already 2 hours. It's longer than I thought. I can't explain in detail each of these, but I have Telegram groups for virtually all of this. Apart from the Simply Peace Forex group, I have Telegram group for this. This is COTP. It does arbitrage. It's an over-the-counter they sell USDT over the counter. I started with and this is investment, right? I'm not doing my own personal trading. I started with $5,000 on Friday. So it's a month, is a week and 1 day today. But as it is, my money here is 6,731. So it simply means I've made a profit of 1,731. If I divide it by 5,000, it means I have made 34.6%. This will keep compounding. If it doubles my account in a month, because I don't know much about this company, I don't know if they're going to collapse. I don't know. And I can't vouch 100% for them. So I can't put so much. I put in 5K, fine. If I double my account to 5K, I'll take out my money. Simple. I'll take out my 5K and I'll leave the other 5K that belongs to the house. I will now develop a trade plan. Right? Prof keeps talking about trade plan. Here it is again. I'll develop a trade plan. If this account can double every single month, right? Meanwhile, remember, what am I looking for from this Excel sheet? I'm looking for 79%, right? If this account can double everything, remember, I'm looking for 75% per annum. I've gotten something that can even give me 100%. And it's high risk. So I won't put all of my money. Why? I can put my money and the company collapses. So I'll put part of my money with the hope that part of it, let's say I have 50,000, I put 5,000. So that if I can double this 5,000 4 or 5 times, it will help me reduce the number of percentage I need to get before I get to 79%. If my 5,000 disappears, I still have more 45,000 to help me get to my 79% at the end of the year. If this thing continues like this is month 1, month 2, right? If this thing continues for 10 months, doubling, I possibly could turn this 10,000, right? I possibly could turn this 10,000 to 2.56 million. Again, it looks sweet on paper, but many times it doesn't happen. Many times it crashes, right? So again, I'm not discussing level of risk, but I won't be also a fool. I'll just be compounding it. I might have a withdrawal, strategy. Okay, I'll be taking out 30% of this. So the deposit will drop 30%. I'll be taking out 30%. I'll play around it. At the end of the year, I know anyway, I'll make 79% on all my investments, right? So how does this work basically? When you invest, you need to come here and look for orders. So in some places, USDT is sold at 580, but you will sell it at 582. So you make $2 profit. Every 2 hours, they return back the whole capital and profit for you. You make 0.3% per 2 hours, or 2 hours, 30 minutes. But every 2 hours, they'll return it. You have to practically come here and click on a new transaction. If you don't want to click on a new transaction, withdraw your money and take the work. I don't have the time to be coming here every 2 hours. So we got a script. I have a script here. The script comes back every 20 seconds, 1,200 seconds. It will come and check. If it sees money, it will roll it over for me. So come back and check. If it sees money, it will roll it over. So I don't need to touch anything. It's just rolling over on autopilot. The last time this thing rolled over was 10:12. And you guys know that 10:12 we were here talking. So this is 12:12. Unfortunately, I don't want to keep you for longer. If we wait for 13 minutes more, all this money here will return back to the wallet. So I beg you, if you have the time, just wait. Even if we've ended the seminar, I want you to see it happen live. It will come back here, and that robot will trade it on my behalf without clicking a button. So now I am investing. I don't need my energy and my time, but I'm generating money. That's investment. That is how you move towards, becoming financially independent. I discussed Intelligence Prime Capital with you guys. I joined 2nd November, and I told you guys anything can happen. None of these companies have ever lasted for 4 years. Many of them go down. CashFX is there, they're having issue. Omega Pro is there. We have many other ones. But will I say I won't do all of them? No. I have certain criteria, certain things I look out for. Once I look out for those things and they are there, they don't need to be 100% safe. If they are 60%, 70%, I now take certain risks based on the level or the degree of safety I have perceived from them. And that degree of safety, I leave it open. When people come to me and say, I saw one thing about IPCs, like it may be scam, I say, send it to me. I investigate it. The day I discover that something is fishy, I withdraw my money, right? I started this with $1,000. Today, I have $17,900 in the system, right? And out of that, I opened another account for my wife out of the profit I made, and she has $10,000. So together we have $27,900, about $28,000 in the system, right? Of course, I employed some marketing skills, and I did a webinar for those of you who joined, and I told you how to go market. Some of you followed that webinar to the T, and today you're managing directors in IPC. And you didn't talk to one person. You said, I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to. The webinar I told you guys and how I told you, you didn't talk to one person. IPC, I have 114 signups here, and under my wife, I have about 60, 70 something signups. Let me check that. Out of this close to 200 signups, I only spoke to 10 persons with my mouth, 10 persons with my own mouth, 10 persons with my own mouth. Every other person was gotten online. Online. You are scared, oh, if it crashes, they'll come and beat me. Well, online, guys, online. Let it sink in. Online. I hope you are getting it. This is another one that somebody has been introducing, right? And you can also make money from here. There are many, right? There are many. I also told you guys I don't have the time. I didn't plan my time well, and I've spent so much time. I don't want this to be too long. I have to wrap up now. There's IPC, there's Hyperverse. I told you guys about Hyperverse. There's a doctor, Dr. Ikechi. He told me about SUR or something. I just registered for that one today. And this does about 5% per day. And what he does is they trade binary options, right? Once they make the 5%, he withdraw all his money and takes it back to Binance. The next day, before they start trading again, he sends it back. Once they make the 5%, he withdraw all his money. He's willing to bear the cost of moving money up and down. He just want $1 than to leave the money in the system, right? I will analyze it. I just signed up this morning, but I will analyze it my own way and do my risk management. And once I do my risk management, I'll create a Telegram group for that, and I'll tell you guys my risk management. When I tell you my risk management, I'm not saying copy it verbatim. I'm saying just learn. This is how I take my risk. Last year, I did about 7 of this type of investments. The first 5 I did failed. I lost over 4-point-something million in the first 5. The other 2 that stood, Hyperverse and IPC, have paid me more than 10 times what I lost in the other 5. So what does that mean? I made well over 79% last year. So am I building my Excel sheet? Yes, I am. I'm building my Excel sheet. I'm growing. I'm moving to my goal. I'm moving towards becoming comfortable, right? If you want to trade Forex, we took time to say, go trade prop firm. Don't trade your $1,000. If you trade your $1,000, when will you get $1 million? How? Which miracle will happen for you to get $1 million? What if you learn how to trade for a prop firm and you are trading their own 400,000? You are very close to becoming a millionaire. You only need to make certain profits consistently over a period of 3-4 years, and you have your 1 million. Again, listen, I didn't say in 1 year. 3-4 years, you could have 1 million. Right? So invest. Look for these companies. You don't have to do it yourself. If they are doing it, put your money there, but do your due diligence. Do your due diligence on them. When we take our podcast, I will explain what the due diligence are. Right? And if you are here, you know you can help us anchor our podcast. You know how to play with podcast. Get in touch with me. It doesn't have to be free. If you do it free, thank you. I appreciate you. Like I'm giving you free. But if you feel you need to be paid, well, no problem. We'll pay you. Businesses grow when friends and family pay for services. You want to build your trading portfolio. It doesn't have to be only FX. There is crypto, and I showed you guys what I do in crypto. I'm still waiting for Bitcoin to come to around 30. If it doesn't come and my signal tells me we are now bullish, then I start looking for buy. But I'm not in any spot crypto right now. You could trade binary. We have Dapo coming to explain his DCA, dollar cost averaging system, and some people are already using it and making money. I thought binary for a peanut, $50, just $50. I thought binary, and I'm making money from binary. Stocks, whoosh, very easy if you learn from Prof. Right? Synthetic indices, this class is on. It started yesterday. The what did they call it? The discount is over anyway. What about bonds? Right? You could learn many things. In fact, what about options? There are options. Options is different from binary options. You can learn. What will you need to learn these things? Time and money. Or if you don't have money, then spend time on YouTube. Again, that will be money because you're buying data. But you must get knowledge. If you invest in crypto because everybody's investing, you're buying Shiba. You go down. You learn, you have to apply your knowledge here, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, I will stop recording.